Good afternoon. This is Tyra G from Frankly Speaking with Tyra G. I am on site at a very special event at the Westfield Marriott in Chantilly, Virginia. It is a training session, a conference, an inspiration for all the new Rotary presidents of next year, to call the president-elects. I have been talking to some of the organizers and some of the officers of the district, and now we have the total pleasure of speaking with one of the attendees, a president-elect for McLean, Virginia, Ms. Courtney Nuzzo. Courtney, I want you to introduce yourself and let the listeners know, why are you here? What got you here? What are your visions and dreams for your presidency next year?
Well, thank you very much, Tyra, for having me today. It's really a pleasure to be here with you and your listeners. How did I get here? I came to the McLean Rotary Club through my employment. I work in McLean. I don't live in McLean. And I manage an affordable housing property there. And we're very glad, the Lewinsville Retirement Residence is very glad to be a part of the McLean community. And I'm very glad to be a part of the larger Rotary and have found this as a real opportunity to continue the service, service to others. Obviously, in my employment, I do that, serving the underprivileged older adults in Fairfax County. But this organization's Rotary, and particularly the McLean Rotary Club, gives me that opportunity to continue that level of service to folks in Fairfax County here in my local community, and I'm pleased to do that.
What's interesting, I don't know how many people have looked at the stats, but Fairfax County is always vacillating between 1 and 2 and 3 of the richest counties in the United States. And you're hearing Courtney talk about, here I am in that situation, servicing an underserved population. And what we have is a lot of that in Fairfax County, whether it is people who are homeless. We have a huge community because of our transportation system of human trafficking. And guess what? Rotary can walk into those places and make a difference. It becomes a courageous conversation, but we've got that courage. Tell me this, a little bit about the McLean Club and what your goals and visions are. Each club has to say, this is what we're going to pursue this year. Tell us about the McLean Club.
Well, I've been a member for almost 4 years, coming up in May, and very pleased to take on a leadership role there, and also just ecstatic to be able to follow Dr. Deborah Jackson. She kind of raised the bar for me a little bit, so I've got kind of a high bar to clear. We've got to manage the the members' expectations going forward, but I'm excited to have that opportunity to lead. The club has been around. We've done so many service projects there in McLean, and obviously one of the things that impressed me with our members are the when I first joined and were meeting some of them, and that Bob Jansen, who was working on the water project, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm just trying to get to work every day, and this guy's out working solving the water issue in the globe. Yeah. Dr. Barry Byers is working down in Honduras, and I'm thinking, again, I'm just trying to take care of the folks here in the Fairfax community. So it's just a remarkable group of men and women from all walks of life, retired and still actively working folks, and just with a real passion for giving back to the community, no matter what community they come from in terms of their faith or classifications. Mm-hmm. And just really pleased to be a part of their organization.
What I love about what Courtney said earlier, and I'm going back to that, she said our water project, one of the key areas of focus with Rotary is clean water. We here in the United States don't understand the value of clean water. And the effort that we have, strategic water alliances, we dig wells in underdeveloped countries. And what does that mean? That means that girls can go to school now because they can have private sanitation toilets. We have clean water so people do not have disease carried through I want to say the word, but the dirty water with all the disease. And what's important was Courtney said somebody from her club is tied to an initiative that is working globally. I have the same experience. We're part of that same Water Alliance, my club. And it is so fulfilling to see what we can do when we collaborate. And I think maybe only 2 other interviews have talked about the huge impact we've made eradicating polio plus. And at the club level, we commit to do that. And we're now down to 3 countries where it has been eradicated. And we're going to keep pursuing that. But the other thing I want to say, now we've talked about global, the impact right here with the people right here. We've got clubs that just come together 1 hour a week to pack lunches for our kids who are on our food programs, so they'll have food to eat over the weekend. We've got Second Story, where it's an organization that serves kids who have aged out and have no place to go. And they're right here in Fairfax County. And that's just 2 examples. But I'm sitting here looking at Courtney, and I'm a president. She's about to be a president. She just mentioned a fabulous president of her club, Dr. Jackson. Women are kind of creeping out of the shadows and shouting loud, "We are here. I am woman. Hear me roar." And you heard Courtney say, Deborah set the bar high. Courtney, what have you learned here? The most important thing that you've learned at this conference to prepare you to be a president-elect?
I'm not alone. I came here Thursday, a little anxious about it, as I mentioned, not only Deborah's high bar that she set for the club and for us, but just a little anxious about, making sure we keep things going and so in dealing with that anxiety and trying to learn, and it's a lot of, as I said earlier, a lot of information. I feel like I'm drinking from a fire hose, rather than taking a little glass of water and processing things. So there's a lot of information to get here. But probably the best thing about this has been the opportunity to meet other president-elects in my area. It gives me the inspiration to try to get out to some other club meetings to see how other clubs are running just their weekly meetings, or if they're meeting twice a month, and see what some of the other challenges are, but also to see and get out and learn from other folks. So I would say the camaraderie and realizing that I'm not alone here, and the massive amounts of education that they've put together for us is very helpful.
And I applaud, obviously, our training team, our district training team, but understand that we use every vehicle possible, social media. Throughout the year, we have training conferences. But this is the last year of 3 preparing Courtney for this next step. And yes, there is a lot of information. But I think the most important thing you said today, Courtney, is you're not alone. And that's the truth. You will understand as you walk in after your installation, we're all hanging out here. Plus, you have a past president that will be your partner. I want to thank you. I actually recruited Courtney. She says, "What? You want me to talk about what?" But I think she represents a great deal of the population here, the president-elects, that are grateful for the amount of time that's been put in to expose them to the kinds of things they can expect in the future. So we're going to close it out for now, and you all stay tuned.
Well, thank you very much for having me.